Hi, my name is Joanna Sanchez, and I'll be discussing the Tough Love documentary directed by Stephanie Wen. The film looks at the inner workings of the American child welfare system. Tough Love narrates the lives of two parents, one in Seattle, Patrick, and one in New York City, Hanny, describing how each parent fights to be reunited with their children taken out of their custody. Through intimate footage of both families, we witness firsthand the complex and dogged bureaucracy of America's family courts. Moreover, we come to understand the powerful role poverty and prejudice play in keeping parents and children apart, and the challenges parents must overcome in order to put their families back together. Child Protective Service (CPS) took Patrice Brown's daughter, Natalia, and placed her with the foster family a year ago. He gets to see her on the weekends. Patrick went to jail and Natalia was just 2 years old. Her mom was abusing drugs and he feared his daughter's life, so he decided to call CPS. Her mom is now in the picture. In New York City, Administration for Children's Services (ACS) removed AJ and Nia from their mother, Hannah, and placed them with their parental grandmother 2 years ago. What topics learned throughout this course does the film highlight? In the reading Poverty and Inequality, I recognize the primary mission of the social work profession: to enhance human well-being and help meet the basic human needs of all people with particular attention to the most vulnerable, in this case, children. The Life module helps the practitioner to assess life stressors, stress levels, and coping strategies in the client, intending to restore self-esteem and self-direction. Patrick received panels to help overcome his addictions, such as drugs and gambling, and improve his stress levels. He doesn't know how to cope with stress or how to express himself. High stress levels can cause chronic diseases. Helping Patrick by promoting his mental health is crucial. Grief and loss theories can guide a social service worker to help recover clients who have lost a person who was very important in their lives, such as the case of the foster care systems. We can see that grief and loss theories are being practiced during Hannah and Patrick cases. I also recognize the decision-making dilemma module and the moral dilemma concept from the Human Resources and Ethical Practice reading. Human Resources can use the decision-making module to solve dilemmas. Race, social class, gender, and sexuality are all social systems that, while they change over time across cultures, continue to perpetuate the advantage of certain groups over others. Racism in child welfare and juvenile justice are real-world examples that relate to the culture and racist topic. I would like to mention that compared to white children, black children are taken from their homes and placed in foster care at a far higher rate. Human services workers and their impact on their parents. Family Treatment Corps (FTC) is a program that helps parents with a history of substance abuse get the treatment and services to get their kids home. Patrick used FTC to help bring his daughter back. There's also the Child Welfare Organization Project, CWOP, which helps parents navigate the child welfare system so they can get their kids home. CWOP is led by parents who have been impacted by the Administration for Children's Services, and this was the organization who helped Hannah. There is also the Child Safety Alert, number 14. Anytime a mother with children in foster care gives birth, ACS holds a conference to determine whether it's safe to the newborn to reside in the home or should be removed. This is what happened to Hannah. She was pregnant and fighting for her two children custody. ACS hold a conference, they decided that it was good for the baby to stay with her mom as long as they have a good place to live. In order to get their children back, they needed a support network. So people who are going to show up to practice to provide childcare. They also needed to provide to have a good income, to have a good job, to a place to live, and a good place for the children, a healthy environment. Similarities and differences between the two child welfare, Washington and New York, and how they impacted each family. So both parents are trying their best to get their children back. Unfortunately, they didn't receive the right education and love when they were young. So Hannah also lived in a shelter in Staten Island when she was young because her mother had to escape from her violent father. On the other hand, Patrick also had to quit school so he could provide his family and help his mom, which worked 3 jobs, and her father was an alcoholic. So I found more differences among them. So Hannah didn't have a good supporting network as Patrick had. Hannah couldn't afford a place to live since she was pregnant, so she didn't have a job. They lived in different communities, and Hannah, being a woman and a person of color, had less chances of getting back her children. So this is where race and sexuality comes in. Since Hannah was pregnant and being a woman, it was hard for her to find a job compared to Patrick, which is a white male. He got a job and he had a flexible schedule, so he could go to court, he could go to his panels, to therapy without losing his job. On the other hand, Hannah, she was pregnant. She didn't have a job. She couldn't find a job. She was about to give birth. Also, she couldn't find a good place to live. At the end, we see Patrick overcomes all his addictions. He has a good place for his daughter, a good job, and he gains full custody of his child. On the other hand, Hannah, after giving birth, she found a better job. She was working and saving up for a good place to live, but the judge decided to give the children's father full custody. So she got to see them in the weekends and some days, but she no longer has full custody of their 2 kids. So yes, race and gender has an impact on the child welfare system. Thank you for watching. I recommend you all to watch the film. It was very interesting and it will help you understand more about the guidelines and policies of the child welfare system.